Welcome to Right Fit Leader, a podcast from Alec Broadfoot and the Hire with Confidence team at Vision Spark. This is where visionaries, entrepreneurs, and leaders learn how to hire leaders, lead better, and build teams that last. Through expert insights, real client stories, and conversations with top leaders, you will hear how we find A players for your business. This is Right Fit Leader.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Right Fit Leader podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how right fit leaders keep human culture in an AI world. I am your host today, Jen Young, client strategist with Vision Spark, and I am joined by a very special guest, someone I truly enjoy working with, visionary entrepreneur Sunny White. Sunny White is the founder and CEO of Xavier Creative House, a fiercely independent healthcare marketing agency built to serve life sciences brands across pharmaceutical, biotech, medical device, medtech, and wellness. For more than 13 years, Sunny has led Xavier at the intersection of bold strategy and regulated reality. Specializing exclusively in healthcare, the agency partners across the full brand lifecycle, from pre-launch to launch to growth to mature brands, bringing clarity, creativity, and strategic vigor across therapeutic categories and disease states. Under her leadership, Xavier Creative House operates as a human-led, AI-amplified healthcare marketing organization designed to move at the speed of healthcare. Through its proprietary talent intelligent network, Xavier blends a high-touch boutique model with scalable, specialized expertise, delivering senior-level thinking and operational excellence while creating a client experience defined by ownership, intimacy, and accountability. Sunny wakes up every day driven by one belief: build an agency people love to work for and love to work with. It defines the culture inside Xavier Creative House, where accountability and care coexist. It defines the client experience, where partnership means shared ownership, proactive thinking, and co-creation. It also defines how the agency shows up in the world, committed to serve, sustainability, and long-term impact. A two-time Titan 100 honoree, Titan Hall of Fame inductee, and active board member, Sunny is deeply committed to developing the next generation of leaders and passionately coaching and mentoring more women into the boardroom. She mentors, speaks, and serves because she believes leadership has a ripple effect that extends far beyond business. Under her direction, Xavier Creative House achieved B Corp certification and ranks in the top 1% globally of EcoVadis sustainability performance, embedding responsibility into how the agency operates and grows. Sunny holds dual MBAs from St. Joseph's University in pharmaceutical and healthcare marketing and international marketing, along with executive education from Wharton and Yale. She is building the agency of the future, one rooted in deep values, strengthened by AI, technology, and automation, and sharing the next era of healthcare marketing, where healthcare brands live. Welcome, Sunny, and thank you so much for being here today. We're excited to have you.
Thanks so much, Jen. I'm excited to be here.
I love how laser focused your marketing agency is on your niche. How did you become so solely focused on the life sciences brands, including healthcare marketing for your agency?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think this really has been a series of building blocks, right? So for me at least, I have focused and started with getting really clear on what energizes me and where I can create the most impact and what I genuinely love. So early in my career, I explored different paths, but I really, realized quickly that I thrive in environments where I can connect strategy, creativity, and people. So healthcare marketing was that intersection for me because it's an industry where we're influencing how patients understand conditions, how doctors make decisions, how access is delivered across the healthcare continuum. And that's what really keeps me committed, because behind every decision that we make at this agency is a patient, is a family, and a moment that matters.
I love that. So where are the companies that work with you located?
Yeah, so our clients are coast to coast. I
Okay.
mean, our center of gravity is here in the PA Jersey corridor, but
Okay.
we work with brands in Boston, we work with brands in the Bay Area, we work with brands in
Nice.
the Midwest, because that's, the Midwest is a real powerhouse for immunology and large scale manufacturing. We work in Southern California, where med tech and specialized therapeutics intersect in a really interesting way. But honestly, I like to say we go where the science is.
That's awesome. And what problems do you solve for your clients? I mean, when a business owner or a company, an agent, or a pharmaceutical company, let's say, what are they experiencing when they come to Xavier Creative House for the first time?
Yeah, our clients come to us, the stakes, when they come, the stakes are really high. So they're navigating a lot of complexity. So, what does that mean? That means they might be about to go on a product launch, or there's a patient engagement challenge, or they're spearheading a patient support program, or there's market access barriers, or there's internal misalignment across, cross-functional teams. And when they come to us, they're really searching for a partner that has deep healthcare experience, a partner that can strategically think, can execute, right? In healthcare, it's like strategy meets execution. That's a lot of what's happening. But what we've learned is that our expertise in healthcare alone doesn't really make our partnerships successful. What we've boiled this down to, Jennifer, is like the difference is the chemistry. So it's how we're showing up alongside those customers. And we've been really intentional about operating as an extension of their team, because this approach is only possible because of how we've built our house. And our model is really grounded in specialized leadership. I know, we run on EOS, but when we run on EOS, each leader operates in their zone of genius. And so this allows us then to show up as that true strategic partner that's aligning our strategy, our science, our bold creative, our evocative ideas, across these key stakeholder groups, which is our patients, our caregivers, our healthcare providers, market access, and ultimately that's what our customers need.
I love that. I love that. So, what are some things that you wish more leaders understood about your work?
A lot of times leaders associate healthcare marketing with campaigns, with creativity, with commercials that we see on TV. But really, I like to say, healthcare marketing is all about responsibility. We are responsible as healthcare marketers to shape how patients understand their conditions, how doctors and providers are making decisions, how caregivers are navigating the complexity of, let's say, incredibly emotional moments. And the level of influence demands more than, say, creativity or great ideas. It really demands clarity. It requires education and a deep respect for the human experience. And this became really real for me. My father was recently diagnosed with cancer. And so when I was sitting with him in the doctor's office and I was, helping him understand his options and what to expect, all the patient can hear, and in this case, my father, all he could hear is the word cancer, right? There is a complete shutdown moment. And so that was one of the most important moments of my life, because in that moment, everything became full circle. Here I am as a healthcare marketer. This is what I do. This is what we do. And I could see it in that moment. I could see the confusion. I could see everything. And you just kind of stop. And I recognized and acknowledged that, our responsibility as healthcare marketers is to take complex science and make it clear, Make it clear for the doctors, make it clear for the patients, make it clear for the families, right? Because they're trying to make the best decisions they can for their loved ones or for their own health.
Yeah, that's so important. And so sorry to hear about that. I hope he's doing okay. But, on this podcast, we talk a lot about finding the right fit leaders. And I know you know a lot about that. We've worked with you to help you find some of your right fit leaders. And a plug for Sunny too. We're also currently looking for a sales leader for her. So please reach out to me if that is after this listening to this podcast, that is something you're interested in learning more about. But finding those right fit leaders, that often starts with company culture. And can you tell our listeners what building a healthy agency culture looks like and feels like for you?
Absolutely. I know you said in the intro, like, I've always dreamed of building a company that people genuinely love to work for and work with. This is what gets me out of bed every day. This is my passion. This is my purpose. But I've also learned that creating and building a great company, building a great culture, it has to be intentional. It has to be woven into the fabric of the day to day. It's how you operate, it's how you lead, it's what you tolerate, it's what you celebrate, it's who you promote. It's really the way in which you recognize wins, milestones, the way you show up for people in hard moments. And, all of this is what shapes how people experience your company. Mm-hmm. And at XCH, I've always believed that in a service business, our greatest strength is our people. So people, in your recruiting, like, what people are drawn to is they're drawn in by our mission, our ambition, our core values, the opportunity to grow. But what makes them stay is the culture. And when you get that right, it shines externally. Your clients feel it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell business owners when we're talking about culture, like, it's a living, breathing thing, right? Every time you add a member to the team, if they're not aligned with that culture that you have or those core values, then it shifts. It shifts the culture. It doesn't stay stagnant, right? It's not just the pretty words on the wall. It is a living, breathing thing. So really so important. So tell me, what does it mean to you to have a human-led culture in an AI world?
So for me, it boils down to the fact that artificial intelligence is artificial, right? It's in the name. And I like to say, listen, like, I love AI. I love everything about AI. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite things. It's opened my eyes to the power of technology and the millions of use cases, right? I mean, last year at our company retreat, I got the superlative most likely to replace herself with AI. Yeah. I mean, that says a lot, right? But at the end of the day, AI definitely has its limits, and we need the human. We need, the human intelligence, which is the human piece, the empathy piece, the creativity piece, and most importantly, the connection, right? Like, that is what we do so well as humans. And all of those things come from actually understanding people, especially in healthcare, because at the end of the day, healthcare is human. We've all been patients or caregivers or supported someone, in their journey back to health. But there's a level of understanding that technology just can't replace. So the way we think about it here at the agency is pretty simple. I break it down for my team into 3 components: human, AI, human. So what does that mean? Like, start with your original thought. Then you can bring in AI to support or enrich, to make it better, all the great things. But that final step is probably one of the most important, is bringing that human component back in again to check it, to QA it, to tweak it, to refine it, to really make sure that it feels right, it makes sense, because AI can certainly support the work, but it shouldn't be the one leading the work.
Yeah, I love that. It's so important. So very important. So how do you think the best right fit leaders leverage AI responsibly then?
So in January, I hired a director of AI and technology, and she taught me that the best right fit leaders leverage AI responsibly by working backwards. So they start with defining what AI should never own, right? Before deciding where it can create efficiency. So at a practical level, that means creativity, strategy, accountability always remains with that leader. And then AI is used to accelerate, execution or surface insights or reduce friction, but it's not to replace the critical thinking or the ownership. And she uses a few questions to really anchor things. And I'm going to be working with her this week on a build for the sales side of our house. And those questions that she asks is, and what she tells leaders too is, how do you want AI to operate in your business? What is it never allowed to touch? And who is accountable if something goes wrong? So if those parameters are not clear, then AI becomes a risk instead of an advantage. And, as we both know, like at the end of the day, AI is certainly a powerful tool, but responsible leadership is what determines whether it's going to create leverage for the organization or liability.
Yeah, I think that'll be really helpful to our listeners to use that same type of process, really. It needs a process, right? It's so powerful and so dangerous and so wonderful all in one big ball, so how important to really set parameters in place for that. Now, another aspect of having a right fit leader involves how it helps a company scale. So can you please tell our listeners how visionary owners can best scale without losing soul, purpose, and profits? How can that all coexist?
Yeah, so we run on EOS, and for listeners that don't know what EOS stands for, EOS stands for the Entrepreneur's Operating System. So a big part of their philosophy is making sure that you have the right people in the right seats. So early on, when you're building, an organization, you feel like you're wearing a million hats, you're working a gazillion hours, and it can feel like you are losing your soul at times. But then when you start building and you put, the right structure and the right team, and you learn how to delegate to elevate, which is one of my favorite phrases that they use, that growth starts to feel fun. It starts to feel manageable. But the vision that you have is that, and I'm a visionary CEO. So the vision that I have in my mind starts to take shape in a real way. And that's when the scaling starts to feel different. And you actually get to start rallying around what that true meaning of scaling is. We developed this year a theme that guides us. So we developed a theme that's #growth through our value. And that's been really helpful to the team because it shifted the conversation from just growth to what value we're actually creating. So per person, like as you're trying to make the boat go faster and align and row in the same direction, it's this reflection point of, what value are we creating? What value are we bringing to our customers? What value are we bringing as individuals? And how is each person contributing to where we're going? So my group creative director had come to me and, in EOS, you create rocks. And she was like, what's so cool, Sunny? Like one of, our employees came to me and was like, I get it now. I get it. Rocks are the way in which I can put my fingerprint on the agency. Like I can take on this rock and actually contribute to the blueprint of where we're heading. And it's so cool. So, that clarity, like when it becomes that clear for the people in the organization, it doesn't feel like you're forcing it anymore. And, individuals and our employees and the people feel, and they understand that the value they're bringing, and then the growth starts happening more naturally. And I think that's how you then are able to protect the soul and the purpose, because it starts to come together in a way that feels much more sustainable.
Yeah, that's great. Something so many entrepreneurs strive for is that visionary freedom, right? And it's really getting, like you said, the right people in the right seats, but also the right leaders in the right seats. And I know that's something that you've been really intentional about too. So let's talk about that for a minute. Switch gears here. I know you've always had a very full roster of women as leaders in your organization, and you also take time to mentor women leaders. So why are you so passionate about elevating women into executive leadership?
I'm passionate about elevating women into executive leadership because, like, I've lived both sides of it. I know what it feels like to be in rooms where you have to work twice as hard to be taken half as seriously. I also know how powerful it is when someone truly believes in you. And, for me, that started at a really young age. My nanny believed in me before I believed in myself. And she saw something in me early that stayed with me. And it gave me this sense of confidence and possibility that I've carried forward, even in moments where you have self doubt or you're questioning yourself. And I think that's why it matters so much to me, because I want to be that person for other women. Because the reality is, women, we carry a lot. We have a lot of competing priorities. There's different paths, there's constant pressure to navigate it all perfectly. And I don't believe that there's one way or right way to lead or build a life. Some women want to go all in on their careers, some want to prioritize family. Most are trying to figure out how to do both in a way that actually works. But what I care about the most is helping women feel confident in their path, whatever that looks like. And mentorship is how that belief multiplies. Sometimes it's just one conversation or one moment or where something clicks and someone starts to see themselves differently. So if I can play even a small role in helping women step into their confidence and own their path, this is something that I truly, make time for.
I love that. It's such a beautiful way to give back to others and to serve others, even though you're this leader of your own organization now. Just love that about you. I always love getting reading recommendations when I do these podcasts, especially from successful entrepreneurs like yourself. So can you please share with our listeners one book that's really shaped your leadership?
I absolutely love Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara.
I love that book
Every
too.
Jennifer, like every single page of this book made me more excited and inspired than the last. Like, I think this book's message, I carry it with me everywhere, but this book's message started to leak into every aspect of my life. Like, I would find myself sprinkling unreasonable hospitality magic into every conversation I would have. And I read this book, I guess in early 2025, and I'm still purchasing stacks of this book to mail out to various members of my network. Because, this book is all about service centricity, and, that's one of our core values here. But reading, I always took such pride in the way that we service our customers. Like, it is an obsession of how we show up and serve, because we believe that's truly a differentiator here at the agency. But reading this book took my mind to, like, literally a whole nother realm of possibility. And it made me obsessed with creating experiences that go beyond what's reasonable, going beyond what's expected. And I like to call that surprise and delight moments that people can carry with them for a lifetime. So I love this book so much. It's definitely my favorite book of the century.
Yeah. And it's fun to do, isn't it? When you're able to deliver something at that level to another human that's they're just not expecting, like, it brings you joy. It makes you happy. It's one of my favorites too.
My best friend gave me that book, and she was like, I read this and was like, you are just going to love it. And so I read it, front to cover. I have it on audio. It's really great. It's a great book.
Yeah, our visionary Alec gave it to the whole team, the whole company a few years ago, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is like my favorite thing, my new favorite thing.
So good.
That's really good. So, Sunny, I just want to thank you so much for being here today, for all of your insights into Right Fit Leaders. I just have to tell our listeners, Sunny is a visionary who has figured out how to balance it all, growing a successful company, mentoring other leaders, raising a loving family, and building an incredible team. So please tell us, Sunny, how do people work with, connect, and find you?
Yeah, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. That's my favorite channel. You certainly can visit our website at xaviercreative.com. We have our new AI site up at xch.ai to request more information or learn more. I'd love to hear from you.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. And for our listeners, if you need guidance on finding right fit leaders for your team, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or visit our website, visionsparksearch.com, to request more information. You are only one hiring strategy away from finding your next right fit leader.
Thanks for listening to Right Fit Leader, brought to you by Vision Spark. Have questions or ready to hire your right fit leader? Email us at discover@vision-spark.com. Until next time, remember Vision Spark is your go-to partner for finding leaders and building teams.